The year was 2000. People were still relieved the dreaded Y2K bug hadn't exploded the world into a nuclear apocalypse, and on the Dreamcast front, a battle was waging. I mean, sort of. I don't think the game developers planned it really, but you know. The battle for best Dreamcast RPG. In corner 1 was Skies of Arcadia. This JRPG released to the States in November 2000, and has you taking flight in a flying airship as you pirate your way across the sky and floating islands. And in corner 2 was Grandia II. See what I did there? Released to the States in December 2000, which has you playing as a mercenary stuck in the middle of a religious war between the God of Light and God of Dark. Both games received high critical acclaim, and many arguments were had. Blood was shed. Which game was the best JRPG Dreamcast had ever seen? People died. A lot of people died, actually. It was kind of weird. And while I enjoyed both, Skies of Arcadia had one major flaw, damn it, flaw! There were so many random battles it drove me crazy, and I couldn't handle it. So I ended up falling into the Grandia II camp. But, playing it again, does it really still stand the test of time, now that I'm a somewhat and debatably mature adult? Peanut! The game immediately throws you into the heart of the matter as you watch a couple blobs pushing up against each other in outer space. As it turns out, these blobs are Granis and Valmar, the God of Light and God of Darkness. Granis, the God of Light, wins the battle, destroying Valmar and sending its pieces hurtling down towards the planet and causing the formation of the Great Granis Cliffs. 1,000 years have passed since the Great Battle, and we meet our major protagonists. One being Elena, a friendly songstress who's part of the Church of Granis, who's in the middle of having a bowing match as she travels to the town of Carbo. Meanwhile, in the cliffs nearby, we find Ryudo, the character you control throughout the game. Ryudo is a mercenary who fights monsters for money, or a witcher. Oh, sorry, Geohound. He's a Geohound. And just like a witcher, everybody seems to hate him, even though his job as a Geohound is to kill monsters and help them.
I won't have you speaking to his kind.
Yeah, I don't get it either.
Are you really one of the Dark Ones?
Wait.
Are you really one of the...
Excuse me, Prince.
Really?
Excuse
Oh, I don't know. I don't know what these noises in my head are, but I didn't need to live anyways. I mean, what's life? Not worth it. Nope. Fucking nope. No, that's too painful. Oh, this is perfect. You take control of Ryudo as you head into the village of Carbo and gain your first Geohound mission, to protect Elena. In typical RPG fashion, you can learn more story by wandering throughout the village, talking to people, and breaking into their houses. You discover the moon in the sky is known as the Moon of Valmar, and is an evil sign. And despite the God of Light, Granis, winning the war, many in the world are currently starving and things aren't as good as it may seem. You also find the only person in the entire game who actually seems to like Ryudo and appreciate his work as a Geohound. Fuck your shit! I'm just misunderstood. Eventually, you head out with Elena in order to escort her to Grandia Tower for some special ceremony. Here you'll encounter monsters, and Grandia II's battle system works similar to Chrono Trigger in the sense that there's no random battles like other JRPGs, and you can actually see the enemies roaming on the maps. By touching them, you'll trigger a battle, which involves a unique active turn-based combat system. Party members will run around on screen, with the distance to your enemy actually mattering as you can tire out. You'll also need to time out which attacks you choose to do, as striking enemies at the right moment in their turn can cancel their attack or add extra damage. This extra element adds enough to make the battles less stale than a standard turn-based game, until you realize you can just spam special attacks and magic, as the game's difficulty is incredibly low. Making it past the Black Forest, you'll arrive at Grandia Tower. Elena joins her sisters to perform some sort of exorcism, and you're not invited. Bitches. So you sit by a fire waiting for Elena to finish so you can escort her back to... Oh shit! Something's clearly not good, and if nothing else, the screaming metal music definitely drives that home. So it's onto... My God! Look at those particle effects on that fire! It just goes to show that Dreamcast really was a graphically capable system of its time. I mean, it even came out before the PS2, GameCube, and Xbox, but looked great. I mean, Grandia II was eventually ported to the PS2, but that port was actually inferior. And, you know, I think this is as good a time as any to point out some of the dialogue in the game. Most bad guys won't stop killing you if you're trying to kiss their ouchies. What even? Who would say something like that? Hey, turn off the waterworks, kid. There is a tooth fairy, alright? Yeah, it's pretty bad. Oh shit! Elena! As it turns out, while you were gone doing, you know, adult things, Elena has somehow been surrounded by darkness and sprouted dark wings. Oh, and everyone else? They're dead. Yup, everybody is dead. You'll get used to that. So, as you're the protagonist, you rescue Elena and slide down a rope in badass fashion. How did that get there? Sorry, I know I need to immerse myself, but why is there randomly this rope out of the window all of a sudden? Oh. And now the tower is entirely shrouded in darkness and black lightning. I don't know much about this world, but I'd say that's probably not good. Probably. Elena wakes up and explains, "We lost to the power of darkness, to the power of Valmar." And as it turns out, Elena and crew were trying to seal the Wings of Valmar, also known as the Wings of Darkness. And instead of sealing them, they possessed Elena. So even though Valmar was defeated in this battle of good and evil, or light and dark, its pieces are still lingering, and now they're starting to possess people and cause evil shit to happen. You escort Elena back into town, and the priest of the town sends you on a new mission as a geohound. This time is to bring Elena to the Grandia Cathedral, where Pope Zera Innocentius resides so he can try and exorcise the Wings of Valmar out of Elena. Also, Zera Innocentius? Let me show that for you. Zera Innocentius? This dude's name is Zero Innocence. But I trust him. We also discover the priest's daughter, Tessa, was one of the ones to die at Grandia Tower. But he doesn't seem to care at all. Your conversation is suddenly cut off with a crash outside where you meet Millennia, a sexy lady with even sexier wings. Oh yeah. She seems to despise Granis and starts obliterating everything that has to do with the Church of Granis. But being that she's so cute, Ryudo has his doubts.
Are you really one of the... Really?
You attempt to fight Millennia to save the town, and she obliterates you. Fortunately, she takes a liking to you and flies off.
She can fight. For a girl.
And after an interesting night, it's off on an adventure. You head through the Enor Mountains and into Aegir Town, which has been completely destroyed. Apparently, the city was built around a cave, and monsters suddenly sprang from the cave, destroying everything. Mixed up in all of this is the little boy Rowan, who's lost his precious pendant, a gift from his mother, to these monsters. While Ryudo doesn't give a shit, Millennia suddenly appears out of nowhere again, wants to join Ryudo and search for Rowan. She also tries to have sex with him, and Ryudo, for reasons I don't know,
seriously, this confuses me,
pushes off her advances and ends up getting roped into searching for Rowan with Millennia. Midway through the cave, the two of you find Rowan, where he begs to join your party. Ryudo turns him down, so Rowan does what any reasonable human being would do, and starts punching you. So he joins the party as well in order to search for the pendant. In typical RPG fashion, even though Millennia kicked your ass before, now that she's on your team, she's as powerful as a normal party member. Even so, she does have a series of badass moves, such as her Fallen Wings attack, and is incredibly powerful. Rowan, on the other hand...
Expect an early winter with lots of snow!
Them's fighting words. Deeper into the cave, your party will discover the boss, and yo, hey, I think there's something wrong with his head.
I mean, look, I can get some Avil or something like that. You know, whatever you need, I'll get it for you.
Does your head twitch uncontrollably? Are you a big, scary cave monster? Then we have the perfect solution for you. Advil. This is a paid promotion by Soparel Beta. Side effects may include severe memory loss and being trapped in a sinking ship while being forced into an honorary game. Putting this monster out of its misery will reward you with Rowan's pendant. So, with the day saved, you head outside to discover Millennia's actually Elena. Sort of. Basically, the Wings of Valmar, which possessed Elena back in the Grandia Tower, is known as Millennia, and she's now basically sharing Elena's body. And I don't mind. Elena, however, not so cool with it. That woman is evil incarnate. She brings nothing but sorrow and misfortune. That's so. Then I reckon she ain't too much different from any other woman. At this point, Rowan forces himself into your party, and the three of you head off to the Baked Plains. This leads you right into the Granite Cliffs, a giant cliff through the middle of the earth that was sliced through during the Battle of the Gods. At the battle's end, Lord Grandis' sword, which he raised to cut down Valmar, went right through Valmar into the earth, creating a huge fissure across the land. And I gotta say, if there's one thing I enjoy about the game, it's the varying scenery. All the areas feel thought out and have a decent amount of personality to them. While the puzzles in the game are all straightforward and exploration is mostly linear, I actually found myself having fun, and I think that's thanks to the art direction. The granite cliffs themselves are impassable without the use of the Skyway, which will zip you across. And as you travel to the Skyway, you're interrupted by a beastman Merrick who jumps out attacking you. It turns out Merrick has mistaken Ryudo for Ryudo's brother Malphus, a demon man and bringer of ruination. And with a name like Malphus, you know he's gotta be evil. We get a glimmer of Ryudo's dark past, and he too seems to want to stop Malphus. So Merrick joins your party, and now that you have 4 people, you head into Lalique City and the home of the Skyway. As it turns out, Lalique City is going through its own troubles. There's a curse where no one in the city can taste anything anymore, and everyone is slowly starving to death. The only person who can eat is Gadan, the man who was elected to be manager of the Skyloft and mayor of the city. And can I just ask, did nobody at all find this guy just a little tiny bit suspicious? Not even just a little bit? Let's see. We could pick this guy, or this guy, or nope! Let's choose the obviously evil-looking guy. He's definitely the best choice. Mayor Lickitung can't stop eating food and eyes up Elena, wanting to eat her. And I mean literally here. I'm not trying to make some weird sexual joke, you pervert. Can I also just point out this weird-ass statue thing in Gadan's house? So how was this dude elected? Whatever. As it turns out, in an utter and complete surprise, this town was built around an ancient shrine which turns out to be, you guessed it, a cave. Which the curse affecting the city seems to be emanating from.
You know, I'm starting to see a trend here. Can't place it though.
Alright, so you go through the cave, ruins, and eventually find a shrine at the bottom which was supposed to house another piece of Valmar. Here you run into the Tongue of Valmar, who attempts to eat Elena, and Millennia is spat out. And by destroying the Tongue of Valmar, you learn that it's Gadan, and Gadan had become possessed by the Tongue. Millennia then absorbs the Tongue. And we discover each piece of Valmar can feed off of another to increase their own power. So Millennia has absorbed this piece and its power, and in turn, the former host of the piece of Valmar loses their soul. But that's all cool, because now we can travel across the Skyway. Hooray! I mean, it snaps and crashes. Oh no. This delays your travel slightly until you find a creepy kid with a creepy garden. The kid seems to be possessed by Valmar, and there's a curse in the nearby town, and the local villagers had called forth to the Church of Grandis for help. And lo and behold, it turns out there's something dark going on in the church. You mean Pope Zero Innocence is up to no good?
Shocking.
This comes in the form of Celine, a priestess of the Church of Grandis and her cathedral knights. At the request of the villagers to save them, these religious zealots come and decide the best course of action is they should probably burn the entire village down. The holy fire of Lord Grandis merely purifies those who have sold their soul to Valmar. Thanks there for that help. Really glad we called on you. But there is indeed a curse in the city, and evil shit is going down. Now if you had to guess, what would you say is the cause of this? It's a fucking cave. They also built their city around a cave. Somebody needs to tell these people to stop building their cities around spooky caves. So you personally destroy the pineapple of Valmar. Eye of Valmar, which possesses the girl, and Millennia takes her soul. Yay! child killing! And by getting in the way of Celine from burning down the entire fucking village, she bemoans you and swears to report you to Pope Zera. Whatever, Celine. So, you head to His Holiness and finally arrive to find him berating Celine for being overzealous and actually standing up for you. Damn, maybe I prejudged Pope Zero in a sense. Unfortunately, he's unable to exorcise Elena and explains that if Millennia completes herself, the Day of Darkness will come and Valmar will fully revive, which sounds kinda bad. He also sends you and Elena on a new mission to find the mighty Grandia Saber in order to dispel the darkness. As a reward, he'll give you anything you want. Nobody knows where the hell this Grandia Saber is, so you decide to start by searching for Ryudo's brother Melphis. This sparks the second half of your adventure, which leads you into the Kingdom of Kyurem and Rowan's birthplace. And I'm gonna go a little quicker through this, so bear with me. Here you find Ryudo's brother Melphis. Oh no! He attempts to kill the king and runs away to Ryudo's hometown. Also, oh no! Rowan turns out to be the Prince of Kyurem and takes over for his father, the king. Also, he doesn't seem to give a shit that his father nearly died. With Rowan gone, you meet an automaton, a sort of robot puppet person named Tio, who takes Rowan's place in your party. So, the four of you head to Ryudo's hometown, the island of Garland. Along the way, there's some romance between Ryudo and Elena, and blah blah blah, nothing happens. And eventually, your captain uses extreme measures to cross the granite cliffs in what's actually a pretty sick cutscene. At the island of Garland, you eventually find Melphis, who's possessed by the horns of Valmar, and by defeating him, they possess Ryudo. Yay? As the horns attempt to steal Ryudo's soul and take over his mind, Millennia and Elena work together to help Ryudo overcome this and lock the horns away deep inside himself. In his dying breath, Melphis tells Ryudo and gang where the Grandia Saber is, and, as it turns out, this happens to be near Merrick's hometown, Nanan Village. And oh my god, these houses are so cute! They're adorable pineapple houses! Bitch.
Seriously though, I'm just misunderstood.
Finally, it's time to get the Grandia Saber, which is a holy shit, that thing's huge! So, how am I supposed to wield that thing exactly? Before you get a chance to really ponder that, Celine suddenly shows up and comes to awaken the body of Valmar.
Time of revival is nearly upon us.
What now, Celine? Oh shit. Oh, yo, that's a lot of blood. And, oh! Apparently you have to destroy that thing. So, what else to do but fly inside like your magic school bus and take it out from the inside?
I'm sure the magic school bus had murder and destruction, right?
More importantly though, the Grandia Saber turns out to be a spaceship. You thought you knew this game by now. Nope, now there's spaceships. Good thing Tio just happens to know how to control it.
Yeah, that totally makes sense.
Suddenly, the foretold Day of Darkness hits, so you return to the Grandia Cathedral with the Grandia Saber, just in time to discover Celine has gone insane and murdered everybody, even the children. Yay?
Death is their salvation. Did they not themselves pray for release from their suffering?
I mean, look, I'm no expert here, but I'm pretty sure being murdered is the definition of suffering.
She then transforms into an Akira blob and Valmar's heart. It turns out she does this on purpose so Millennia/Elena will be forced into taking another piece of Valmar. This is apparently what Pope Zera requested, and Celine sacrificed herself for Zera, and this time it's Elena, not Millennia, who absorbs the piece of Valmar. Elena does this with the intention that the Grandia Saber will be used to kill her, harboring all the pieces of Valmar, and she will be a martyr for saving everyone's lives. She reports to Zera, and you follow them into the forbidden room of the cathedral where a bombshell is dropped on you. It turns out there was a massive war of light versus dark, with the humans manning multiple spaceships that are identical to the Grandia Saber, as it would seem to be just another spaceship. Valmar, who resembles Master Hand, fights off against Grandia and wins the battle. That's right, it turns out everything has been a lie, and Grandia is the one who died and lost the battle. So, logically, Pope Zera, who knew this to start with, goes insane and decides to revive Valmar through his own body and become a god himself. And where else to do this but on Valmar's moon? So, it's off to the moon. Here, Zera absorbs Millennia into himself through the captured Elena, and Millennia uses the last of her energy to save Elena. She gets completely devoured, and shit gets real. Really, really real.
What can I say? Shit's real. It's the birth of a god.
As the moon collapses by the mighty power of Valmar's rebirth, Merrick sacrifices himself to allow everyone else to escape. You use the last of the Granasaber's energy to ride back home, and as it explodes, your pinata of a spaceship lets out Valmar's monsters, who start to obliterate the kingdom of Kyurem. Rowan joins you to save his people and the world, and search deeper into the secrets of Kyurem, where you find the birthplace of gods. Here you discover more about your ancestors and just how advanced they were. Beyond building spaceships and robots, it would seem Valmar and Granis were both people who strove for power. It was here that they created their power and ascended into godhood. Ryudo decides to try and utilize the horns of Valmar within him to fight off Pope Zera of Valmar, at the very strong risk and likelihood of being turned into a monster himself. So finally, before his likely inevitable death, Elena and Ryudo go in for Nope, never mind. They go in for a hug.
Yeah, I think I'm starting to learn why I was awkward around girls as a kid. And now.
Ryudo somehow overcomes the power of Valmar, and in doing so, gains a proper, holdable Granasaber. So,
Time to fight a god!
or just, fly inside of it and fight its core, because fighting a giant Hydra-headed god boss wouldn't have been at all cool or anything. Now, don't get me wrong, the Valmar core actually is a pretty badass boss fight, and one of the hardest fights in the game. The core has 3 heads in the body, will heal itself regularly, and has a few devastating attacks. In fact, this fight alone took me 30 minutes. But, still, giant Hydra god! Also, roll with the fact that Elena somehow manages to pop Millennia out of her. Yup, the same Millennia who we watched Pope Zera kill is somehow alive and has been living within Elena.
Couldn't this idiot woman notice sooner?
Oh, that makes all of the sense.
So, with both Elena and Millennia on your side, time to destroy Zera Valmar once and for all. And after the epicness that was the Valmar core, I can't even imagine how hard Valmar. Oh, he's easy. So the day is saved. Your heroes learn the important lesson that life is about balance, and you need both light and dark. And they fly away into the sunset. I'm not even joking here. They can all literally fly through space now. Because.
Well, I can't say the writing in the game is great, or particularly all that good.
I remember being blown away by the twist that Granis had actually died during the War of Good and Evil, and everyone was living a lie. I also still enjoy the combat system, which works well for a turn-based JRPG.
I can't really say if I still feel Grandia II is better than Skies of Arcadia, but there is an important life lesson. The hero always gets 2 girls!